Yeah, it really is. You just kind of make it up as you go. Hey, how you doing out there? It's Dave Duford, final expense agent mentor, El Jefe himself here, sitting with the lovely Alyssa from Maryland. Say hello today, Alyssa.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, so just got done with our ride along together. Wrapped up the day, 2 days. What do we write?
2 days.
Eight policies, probably 15 appointments total. I'm very pleased because, as I always say, ride-alongs are excellent opportunities to really see what this business is like, and we saw the good, the bad, and the ugly, for sure. So either way, that's what I like to see and have agents do. So the topic of today's video is women in the life insurance business from a career standpoint. One thing you don't see a lot of in the final expense business really are females selling final expense for whatever reason. And so what I wanted to do, and I figured it'd be a good topic, is really just to talk about a career as a life insurance agent in general and why it may be a good idea for women to consider. So I guess where we'll start, Alyssa, is what attracted you into the life insurance business to begin with?
Well, I'm a mom of two children that are 10 and 14, and I like the flexibility of my schedule. I like being self-employed.
Right.
And not having to be in the office. If I need to take off at 3 o'clock to take them to a game practice, I can do that, or I want to go on a field trip. I really like the flexibility and not having to be in the office at 9 o'clock.
Right.
And some days I'm traveling, like now, and some days I'm at home with them all day making phone calls.
Right. Right. Yeah, and you mentioned earlier, which I thought was pretty interesting, because of course, being a dude here, I only think like a dude, right? You know, we don't think about what the fair sex would think about when it comes to entering a business like this. But you mentioned some interesting points I hadn't considered, you know, especially from the perspective of being a mom, having kids, and having the flexibility. Could you kind of build on that as far as what you have seen as being the benefits of selling life insurance, as far as what you're required to do and your flexibility? Kind of build on that for us.
Right. I think what we were talking about was I took time off almost 10 years to be at home with my children. And I was a professional before that.
Right.
And when I wanted to go back in the workforce, I'm over 10 years older, and my skills were not as current as they had been before. The workforce that was there was younger. I wasn't getting the same offers. I couldn't just pick up. A lot of women just, whether you were an attorney or a salesperson, worked in retail, you can't always just pick up where you left off. And so I didn't have the earning potential that I had 10 years before. So insurance was about the only thing that offered me to just be disciplined and organized and a self-starter,
right,
that I could realistically earn six figures again in the first year or two.
Right, right. Yeah, and I mean, it's like you said. I mean, I see most of my agents are men, and the one thing that I see kind of time and time again, as I told you earlier, most of the guys that are in my organization are over 50, which a lot of people think, wow, that's incredible. But a lot of people, the reason they go into final expense or just life insurance in general is because they've reached an age where they feel like their age is set against them, right? You know, that they're not as employable or not as hireable, not because of a lack of skills, but because of what the employer, they think in their mind, would deem to be too expensive of an investment. I never understood that, because I think some of the best agents are those who are older, because they're more responsible, they're more self-sufficient, they've got bills to pay, and, you know, I would want to surround myself with people that are 2 or 3 plus decades my senior versus people my age, because usually with my people my age and younger, it's not the case that they actually like to work or go to work or are consistent. Not always the case, always, I'll say. But, that's just kind of my preference and kind of what I've seen too. Anything else to add to that?
Yeah, some women also don't want to work full-time or don't need to work full-time, but they still want to work and contribute to the family income. And most employers are going to require a set schedule. And with this business, I may choose one week I don't want to work at all, or I only want to work 10 hours, and that's fine. I don't have anyone
Right.
else to answer to but myself.
Right. Let's build on that real quick, because one thing that we talked about was the difference between being independent and a captive agent, because I think it's important, especially for new agents, to understand what the difference is and how it impacts the level of flexibility. Because if you are a mom, you've got kids, you've got responsibilities to take them to school, take them to extracurricular activities, you're going to need and you're going to be attracted to, I would figure, the flexibility aspects of selling insurance. What's your thoughts on the difference between captive? If you could kind of tell us the difference between captive and independence, and why a career-minded female would prefer one over the other.
Okay. A captive agent works for one company. You have only their products to offer. My experience, I was a captive agent for a couple of years, and my experience was when someone had any major health concerns, I didn't have anywhere else to send them. It was just an automatic decline. I was required to be in the office for mandatory meetings. There were a lot of mandatory meetings.
Yeah, right.
A lot of evening calling sessions, and a lot of accountability. I was not paid a salary, but I was treated like an employee.
Right.
The difference is that I make my own schedule. I don't need to spend 10 hours a week in meetings and
Right.
extra training. That's time that I can be in front of a client or
Right.
on the phone.
Absolutely. Money-making opportunities, not, dying from whoops, hold on, guys. Dying from, too many meetings.
Death
by meeting,
yes.
as you said earlier. So,
Yeah, exactly.
but anyways, at the end of the day, I think the differentiation is important to understand, because if you're getting into the insurance business because of what you feel to be a need for flexibility and a control over your schedule and what you do and when you do it, it's important to understand that captivity, being employed, not even be employed, you could be a 1099 independent contractor. A lot of these captive companies treat you, like you said, like an employee, and they expect you to have multiple meetings that you have to go to, quotas to go to. And I don't have a problem with that as long as you understand what you're getting into. But there are organizations like what I do where it's 180. There's no quotas. There's no expectations as far as some kind of micromanagement type of expectation. Certainly I want my agents to succeed, but at the end of the day, you're in control, and you get to determine the length and the amount of time that you actually get out there and do things. And I think that's important to consider, especially if you're in a situation like Alyssa, you're looking to join an agency that will more or less try to reflect what kind of value you're looking for and what you're trying to get out of the business. Any last words, Alyssa? Anything else?
We were going to talk about the safety issue.
Oh, that's a really good question. So Alyssa brought this up earlier. I thought it was pretty smart. One of the biggest concerns women have, at least in my experience, is the safety issue of working in the home. You're going into strangers' houses. You're talking to people who are normal and then not. And there is, on various levels of concern, how concerned should I be, and should I let this deter from doing this? What's your thoughts on the safety question, and how would you address it?
First of all, I've never had a problem, but you just have to be smart, know the area that you're working, research that before you get the leads. Also, just common sense. Just let people, if you have a concern, let someone, a friend, a loved one know
Right.
your schedule for the day, where you will be, what homes you'll be in. Check in with people, send text messages. I'm going on my appointment now.
Right.
Something like that. But really, it hasn't been a big issue for me, because I'm meeting with people during the day for the most part. That's another reason why I switched over to final expense. A lot of times I'm meeting with both husband and wife. I haven't had a problem, but bottom line is, if something doesn't feel right, just go with your gut and your instinct. And nothing's worth going somewhere you're not comfortable.
No, not at all. Yeah, like Alyssa said, again, if you're in an independent environment specifically, and you have control of where you work and what leads you generate, it can eliminate a lot of the concern issues completely, because you can plan ahead of time where you will work, where you will generate leads, where you won't. and what times of day that you want to go work. There's plenty of people that just work during the day and do just fine in this business, and that eliminates a tremendous amount of worry and concern that normal people tend to have. Totally agree. So other than that, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Dave Duford at Final Expense Agent Mentor. If this is your first video you're watching, you can check out more of my YouTube videos. I got hundreds at this point. You can also go to my website. It's feagentmentor.com. I highly recommend that you join my newsletter to get all sorts of free training information. Check out my lead programs if you're an experienced agent. I sell Facebook and telemarketing leads, as well as have access to an ongoing weekly coaching program called the Inner Circle. Check it out on the website for more information. And if you're an agent and you're looking for a new place to call home, like Alyssa over here, and you want to join the Final Expense Agent Mentorship Program, drop by my website, again, feagentmentor.com, hit the contact button right at the top of the page, and send me a message and I'll get it. And Alyssa, thank you for joining me today. It was enjoyable, and thanks for bringing your good luck.
Recommend coming and do a ride-along with
Yes, it's really the best thing to do. So, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. See ya.